morning, Chef.
Diaz.
Buenos
Good
dias,
morning,
Chef.
Anton.
Buenas tardes.
Good morning,
So,
Dito na.
good morning to everybody watching on the live stream and most especially watching on the replay. We have a very special guest today, and we're talking to the Chef Miguel de Alba of the Alba Restaurante Español legacy institution here in Manila. And we'll talk about stories, stories of Filipino culinary DNA and chef's story on what happened during this pandemic. And we do hope that you get inspired and by the stories and you continue on with the fight. So my name is Anton Diaz, founder of Our Awesome Planet, together with the Nancy Reyes Lumen, the Adobo Queen. All right. Thank you. And we're here talking to thank you for All right, Chef, maybe let's start with an introduction. Can you introduce your self and the restaurant, Alba Restaurant, and the institution, how it became an institution here in Manila?
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Miguel de Alba, and let me share with you how Alba came to our country. It was in 1952, actually. Not the restaurant was established, but when my dad came here, it was Casino Español. It was a club owned by Spaniards during that time. They were running it. And the owners, they were brothers, the Rojas brothers, went to Spain because the chef that they had here handling the kitchen of Casino Español was a Chinese. So they needed more of the authentic Spanish cuisine in the country to introduce it. So one day when they were eating in a hotel in Spain, they were amazed by the steak that they had, and they called the chef to come out to give their compliments. And it was my dad who came out, of course. So, and from there, to cut the story short, they shipped him to the country. A few months later, they fixed his papers, documents, and everything. So that's how my dad started here. Nag-umpisa siya actually. He was hired actually to teach. But when he came, he actually started to learn first. He wanted to understand the culture. He wanted to know the Filipinos. He wanted to understand the palate, I think, of the Filipino first. So that's how he came about. He worked for Casino Español, introduced the cuisine. But later on, when the contract was ended, he had to go back to Spain. And he decided now to go by himself because he loved the country. He wanted to stay this time. So he opened his first restaurant with some partners at the time. And this time around, he introduced the cuisine being adjusted to the palate of the Filipino. So that's how my father brought the cuisine here in this country. And then from then on, from a restaurant of 5 tables maybe, he grew. If anyone remembers La Mancha in Magallanes, that was a landmark there. You made with me. Yes, that was the first themed restaurant, I think, that he introduced here, Castilian cuisine. So from there, after, yung career niya was enlarged, and he was so blessed to have so many restaurants. He was so blessed actually with the love of the Filipino for him. Until one day something happened that he decided to go back to Spain again and brought all 6 of his children there. Ang laki ng pagbabata amin lahat. Whole family, we had to stay there for 2 years. And lahat ng business niya dito, actually, we're still running, pero nawala na yung ownership sa kanya. And then he decides to go back again. So pagbalik niya dito, he had to start from nothing, from zero ulit. And yung mga Alba restaurants niya that was still operating with his previous partners were named Alba pa rin, like Patio Alba. So he decided to call his Casa Colas because that's how his friends knew him or called him Colas. So for many years, that remained as Casa Colas, but it never grew it never expanded anymore sa Polaris Street until I came in with Cashel. So dito na kami pumasok ni Cashel to help my dad out, to revive the business actually. We decided to call it Alba again. Why can't you call it Alba? Because everybody knows Alba. It is your name. Let's bring it back. So Cashel being a marketeer, sa kanya branding was very important. Ako naman, what was important for me was employees. How to empower them, how to get them going. So we made a good team ni Cashel. With my dad, of course, si Papa yung aming main item as our chef, di ba? So from there, 20 years kami sa Polaris ni Cashel until we branched out finally in Tomas Morato in 2000. That was our first baby ni Cashel from, siguro from Papa letting us go. Sige, go, spread your wings, kayong dalawa na yan. And then grew the other 4 branches to this day. So my background actually is accounting. So kasi nag-accounting ako, I love math. That's how I helped my dad sa restaurant business kasi my dad was an artist. Si Papa is all kitchen work. He doesn't care about finances. He doesn't care if you're making money or not. All he cares about is that his customers are happy. His employees are working with him well. Yun lang sa kanya. That's talagang pure artist si Papa. So, yung some sort of professionalism had to come in then, di ba? Kasi nga, we are a family business, but business is still attached. So, you need to make money. So, that's where I came in to streamline the processes in the kitchen. Si Papa kasi sa kusina, once he cannot communicate with the cooks, hindi na-frustrate siya. So, kailangan may parang mediator. Okay, Papa, sa akin mo ituro. Sa akin mo ituro, tapos ako magbibigay sa kanila ng process. So, we made a good team, me, Cashel, and Papa. And I think that that harmony that God has blessed us with is what brought us here with all together with our employees.
So, how do you call the food? How do you call the cuisine now?
Oh, yung cuisine. Well, when Papa was still alive, I was discussing. I remember. That's a good question. Nga. I remember discussing this with Papa one day. Sabi ko sa kanya, Pa, yung cuisine natin, maraming nagsasabi. I mean, especially the Spanish community. Some were actually criticizing na parang it's Filipinized. And there are authentic Spanish restaurants coming in already. So what are we really? Sabi ko pa, are we a Filipino or Spanish? Alam mo, sabi niya, I remember sabi niya, I think yung cuisine natin in this country has become the Alba food. So, it's a combination of Filipino and Spanish. Parang nag-merge. And I guess that's why the Filipinos are happy with our paella kasi alam mo naman sa atin, kailangan punong-puno ng laman. But if you go into Spain, it's all right.
Yeah. Okay. I think when your dad was starting and he said he first wanted to know about Filipino culture, that was already a step into the culinary DNA niya. And he was trying to set up that DNA of his in the Philippines. So, nag-evolve na yung kanyang cuisine. That's the Alba cuisine, actually.
Yeah, and he went to the market himself every day. He wanted to use local ingredients. He wants to use the local beef we have. He doesn't like to import. He likes to use our fish. He made the bacalao style out of our mahi-mahi. So that's why he was able to adjust to the Filipino palate.
Okay. And then, how is the pandemic now dealing with your business?
Oh, this pandemic, honestly, it got to me really late kasi everybody knows something. I think most of our family and friends know something happened in our personal life ni Cashel. Cashel is sick now. So yung pandemic came to me a little bit late because I was focused on taking care of Cashel. So when this pandemic came, hindi ko siya maramdaman masyado, but I saw how God was working in our business. I was parang God made me step away from the business and that was a blessing because everybody stepped up. My brother, my sister-in-law Portia, Christine, and all our managers, all employees. That was a huge blessing for us kasi nag-step up sila. And they run it really well and they were just really updating me. I was meeting with them maybe once a week. And I felt they were also still they felt the struggle. Naiintindihan ko sila na it was hard during the pandemic. It's just that they didn't want me to worry because I had my own worries. But I would, get in once in a while. So yung pandemic was tough kasi the first 2 months of lockdown in 2020 March, that sounded to us like okay, 2 months we have savings. We can survive this. We don't need to think of anything. We don't need to change. Get everybody back home to their families, get everybody home before the lockdown happens. Umuwi sila and my instructions to them was, tell them to not worry. We will provide for them for the next 2 months. We will use our savings para hindi nag-aalala yung employees namin. Kasi most of our employees, of course, they live day by day. Yung needs nila is what they earn for the day. So just to make them feel secured, we did that. Not knowing, natatagal pala yung pandemic. Akala namin after 2 months, you get back, set the buffet, and make money again and recover. Hindi pala. So na wipe out, all our savings na wipe out. And negative, we had, yung aming red mark, yung aming bills sa suppliers and all that. But luckily, God also blessed us with very good landlords who were very understanding. We didn't have to go and them. They gave the offer right away themselves because they understood what was going on. And maybe the years of relationship then also, the build-up.
I think that was goodwill.
So to this,
Goodwill.
yeah, that's right. Kasi yung business namin, the pandemic really hurt us because our business is service. Our business is providing that experience. The takeout is just an addition to it. And napunta kami sa takeout lang, But nevertheless, it still worked kasi prior to this pandemic, we were able to have our party packages, our takeout food. Yung paella namin is convenient for takeout. It's in a pan that you can readily reheat in the oven. So the takeouts came, it worked for us too. But, it was not enough. It's not, the takeouts are not enough. We need the dine-in talaga.
So your dad has the Alba DNA. What about yours? Pareho ba kayo? Or is there a chef mix, the Alba that evolved from another kind of cuisine? Ano ba?
Sa akin, DNA ko, I think, is both. I cannot live, of course, without the adobo. The adobo. I cannot live without Filipino food. I love the fried fish that yung hindi maintindihan ng iba, what's that smell? And then at the same time, I like my dad's cooking. Yung Spanish heritage ko from my dad. I love the food. It's so rich. It's soulful. And halos pareho naman sila, Filipino and Spanish. So I think nagkaroon ako ng combination of both.
Your dad is from La Mancha ba or from Madrid? Saan ba galing yung
Avila.
Avila.
Papa is from Avila.
Okay.
Do you still cook? Are you still cooking?
Sorry?
Are you still cooking?
Yes, at home. Haven't gone out the restaurants yet.
Yeah. Well, naging home cook ka na rin eh. So tell us about your what you are doing now at home, if you don't mind.
Yes, actually at home I have an operation going on also here kasi I have a round-the-clock nurse taking care of Cashel. So, and then I have our house helps here, Maya, me, and her family of Cashel would come and visit. So meron din akong operation dito. I serve breakfast to everybody, so I cook that, yung planning lahat. And I told myself, tapos taking care of, parang mas madali yung trabaho ko dati, even 5 outlets, about 200 employees, going around, traffic, all that. This is tough because you have to think of what's for breakfast tomorrow, what's for lunch, what's for dinner. So I would end up really cooking most of our Filipino dishes at home. And then I combine work with it by checking our delivery system na rin. So I would call different outlets to have our food delivered, and that's the time I check it. Parang hindi rin kami nagsasawa sa Filipino food. So we alternate our cuisine here, Filipino and Alba food. So at the same time, work din sa akin and I'm able to check how they package it, how the food comes, is it warm. So doon na pumapasok yung work ko sa kanila. At least I'm able to give them feedback sa outlets namin.
So, siguro lang, because there are people watching on the stream, maybe if you can give a background lang what happened, and then just to paint a picture of parang how are you, actually I still can't wrap my mind how are you handling this pandemic. So and if you can give a background and then how are you really tackling it.
Yeah, sige.
Wait,
The
before
pandemic
that,
is about.
Mig. Before that, Anton, maraming dinaanan tong si Migs because he was a marathoner. And he was running for a goal, and that was to run from Manila to Bataan and back. Ilang kilometers yon?
Talaga?
142?
160.
160. Umabot
100.
ka na sa 142, right? And then, nagka-accident
Uh,
yan. Kwento mo na nga.
mm. Oh, yung
But he
aksidente ko,
pursued it.
naputol yung leg.
Sige pa rin siya. And even si Cashel was already in the running, di ba?
Wait. I'm interested to listen to this. You were an ultra marathoner. What happened? Sige. What happened? What's the story?
Sige, then we go back to the pandemic. Na-stuck yung head ko sa pandemic kanina. Okay. The ultramarathon for me was, Cashel got me into exercise kasi siguro sabi niya, I need to be healthy, no? And so I started with running 3 minutes lang talaga and I would give up. It went to 3 kilometers, 5, and then later on I didn't realize 42 kilometers na pala yung tinatakbo ko. And then I wanted more distance until I went to 102 kilometers, and then I went to the Bataan Death March 160. Running the Bataan Death March 160, I had an accident. So it was unintentional. Kaya na-traumatize ako because I feel it was intentional yung tricycle running at about 70-60 kilometers per hour. December 23 so baka nakainom, lasing, and they intentionally wanted to hit me sa side, di ba? So when I jumped sa kanal, nandun na pala yung sidecar niya and it hit me. So nag-somersault ako, I hit my head somewhere. Akala ni Cashel, when she came to rescue me, akala niya it was my head that was damaged, that actually it was my leg that nag-split talaga, the buto, putol, nag-iwalay yung legs ko. So my right leg is now steel. I mean, God how God works, no? He saved me. He saved me because this is going to happen to us now, and my wife and our daughter needs me. So I go back. I would always go back how God was working in my life, and for you to really understand why this is happening, why He is allowing things to happen right now, and He is going to increase His power in you. When you are in your weakest, that's when He is truly at work. If you just allow Him, if you just let Him. So that's my experience of the marathon. So I stopped running since then. Bumalik na ako sa mga 21 na lang, 10 shorter distances para mas safe kasi natatakot na si Cashel.
Okay. Yeah. And then the bigger challenge when Cashel.
Oh yeah, yung I'll answer Anton's question kanina about the
yeah.
Oh, yung our what's happening with us, tama ba? Was that right? And then the pandemic.
Yeah.
So yung pandemic nga is above. I have my own personal family crisis now that's happening. Nung dumating yung pandemic, it's something that I cannot anymore. And yun nga, God will not give you anything that you cannot bear. Hindi niya gagawin yun. Kaya as I was saying kanina, God blessed us. He told me na just stay there with your wife. That's my assignment for you because you will find me. I can see in your heart that you are seeking for me. Just stay there because everyone in your business is already working hard. I learned to trust. Kasi kami ni Cashel, hands-on talaga kami. He taught me how to trust our employees and believe that they can do it and that they will do it sincerely. So yung pandemic, I believe yung survival namin, how we thrived in this pandemic, I was also speaking with some friends who are in the restaurant business. And most actually, they've given up. Hindi daw talaga kaya. They have to give up. Malungkot sa kanila for their employees most especially. Sa akin, I realized that dumating yata yung industry sa panahon na ito na yung matira yung matibay.
Yes.
And I realized na yung para matira yung matibay and how to thrive, is it really adapting to the changes that's happening? Is it really understanding where it's going to be heading? Ano na ba yung dapat gawin? Hindi, I realized actually to thrive is to go back in time. How was your business running? Kasi nakikita ko ngayon, those who are thriving, it's just like, buti nga si Tita Nancy mentioned the marathon. It's like if you run 160 kilometers, you are building yourself, you are understanding yourself, your body, you're training hard. Years of running yan eh. So tumitibay yung legs mo. You don't finish 160 kilometers just by training in 4 weeks. It takes years to build the stamina and the strength of muscles. So same in business. Why we are making it, I think it is over the years of experience, and in those years of experience is how deep did you really go with your relationship with your employees. I think that was what really kept us going. Kasi in times like this, the owners and the employees, these are both matetest kayo eh. You'll be brought to a test. Now, is the owner going to just think of himself? Because the employees are worried about what you are going to decide on. So yung relationship nyo over the years, that's what made you thrive. Kaya ang lakas ng legs ng negosyo mo ngayon because maganda yung relationship nyo. We made a vow to each other that in this pandemic, whatever happens, where it leads us, we will be together. So we made a vow to each other that wala tayong tatanggalin. Wala tayong tatanggalin ng employees. And I think if you devote yourself into really caring for your employees, they will do their best. The changes that you have to do, all of that you have to submit to God. May pandemic, this is a worldwide problem. It is not anymore how good you are, what you have learned, what you have experienced. You have to go to the Creator and ask help from Him. Where are you leading us? And when you hear His voice, He's going to tell you what is happening, and He's going to tell you what to do with your business. Because for Him, I think it was enough already that you care for your employees. Let me lead you further. So yung employees namin, nag-skeletal force. That was harmful pa rin sa kanila kasi naging half yung earnings nila, nawala rin yung service charge, di ba? So how God mightily works in your relationship with your employees, skeletal force, but I told our supervisors, our managers, all of them have to go to work full-time. Oh, so they get paid full-time, di ba? Kasi meron akong nasa bahay ako, naka-lockdown ako sa bahay, taking care of Cashel. So I need my managers present in our daily operations in times like this. You know, dumating yung point, wow, hirap na talaga, hindi na kaya yung payroll. Talagang kailangan mo na magbawas ng tao. Eh, ang vow namin to one another was walang matatanggal. You know, the managers volunteered themselves. We will see the operations daily, pero i-half na rin yung sweldo nila. Sila na yung nag-volunteer.
Wow.
For the sake of unity. So that was a blessing. That was God at work.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. So I'm really proud of our employees sa Alba kasi ang ganda ng relationship. Yung mga times na dati, they needed me and Cashel. We were training them. Marami kasi sa amin nag-start talaga sa dishwasher, maintenance. And we gave them the opportunity to learn how to serve. It doesn't matter if you don't know how to speak English, basta you serve from the heart. Most of our customers naman are Filipino. Hindi naman nila i-require mag-English niyan. Ang importante kasi sa akin is that you give your sincere service to the person because yun naman yung hinahanap ng tao talaga eh. Professionalism.
Sorry.
Now, it's 74. Si Mang Oka, if you remember. 75.
Talaga.
Dito.
Yeah. Hindi pa siya magre-retire.
Yeah, so ayaw pa eh. Dahil, you know what they say, na pag nag-retire daw, doon nanghihina.
Oo.
Pero syempre, minsan makikita mo, mabagal na gumalaw, inaalalayan na rin namin. Pero for now, we're not working kasi bawal pa yung mga citizens.
Actually,
So,
sila naman
with that
yung
kind of-
hinahanap sa mga restaurant, di ba? Yung mga regular
Yes,
customers mo, they're the ones, they look for those old guys.
Mhm. Yeah, so as I was saying, with that kind of relationship that you were able to build with your employees, they needed us before and we were there for them. And the time came that Cashel and I actually needed them the most. Kasi Cashel and I can't perform eh. And this is something that they know that Cashel and I love dearly, yung business. We wake up for it. We end the day with it. We go to bed discussing business. 24/7 kami ni Cashel. Yun pa isa, no? That's a hard relationship to be in, no? Yung asawa mo, magkasama kayo. Pati yung desk namin sa office, magkatabi. Ang ginawa na lang namin, pinagbaliktad namin para hindi kami magkaharap. So dumating yung panahon na the staff really showed that we can rely on them. And so came the changes, inayos namin yung packaging, we improved, we developed some packed meals na kompleto with the paella, there's a variant, and to make it convenient for not just for the households but for companies who needed food sa mga call center, ganyan. So we adapted in a way too.
Okay. That's good, no? Syempre, actually the second lockdown, the lockdown this year was really hard, no? How did you guys handle that?
Mhm.
Or naka-recover ba kayo nung December? Tapos parang siso yung business. What happened?
Actually, yung December, before this 2 weeks na lockdown, yung October, November, December was like, wow, thank you, Lord, ang galing. Parang business is back to normal. Why? Because nakapagbigay pa kami ng 13-month pay. Yun, hindi mo na maiisip na maibigay yun, di ba? Kasi bumabawi nga. Pero it was like normal already nung December. Sabi ko, wow, praise God, ang galing. I mean, finally, yung mabigat na sa shoulders ko, medyo makaka-relax na ako and I can concentrate now on with Cashel and, our personal crisis. And came the 2 weeks, dumating na naman. So akala namin, okay na. Yung dumating yung 2 weeks, that was more hurtful. It was worse. Hindi mo maintindihan, this is just 2 weeks. You thinking, if we survived the last year, then we can survive just 2 weeks. Pero actually, hindi. It was tough. Lalo pang nag-dive yung, yung bills and all that. Lease was still there. Your accounts payable was still there. Everything was still there. And while you were thinking of recovering this year, wala. Yung nakaahon ka na, lumubog ulit. So we are awaiting for December. Pero this time around, while you are waiting for December, ang hirap eh. The enemy is also at work. The Delta variant is there. The fear that they're creating to the people. The media that they're hyping this up. Creates fear sa tao, so the people are now, sobrang sanay na sa lockdown, let's just stay home. So staying home does not work for our business when the people stay home. Kasi nga ang business namin is providing the experience. You come to us, we will make this one grand day for you. Are you celebrating your birthday? So it hurt us more yung 2 weeks na it was hard to recover. At this point, because of the 2 weeks na lockdown, we are waiting for December na sana makabalik kami sa ganon, and then the following year 2022 would be better.
Why wait till December? Di ba you can already start into, are there any new things that you are trying to introduce to, pandemic survival menu? Di ba paella can be kept warm, di ba?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yung paella, you can purchase it from us nang naka-vacuum sealed and you freeze it and then you just heat it. What we came up with during the pandemic, actually prior to the pandemic, before Cashel got sick, we launched our frozen callos, lengua, our frozen dishes. So you can just really, you can purchase it, keep it in your freezer 6 months, and thaw it out and boil it. Then you add the vegetables. It comes with instructions na rin. And then we also had 2 desserts, frozen desserts to come with it. So we're going to the frozen food.
Okay.
What I mean by waiting for December, by waiting for December is that's when people have the confidence to spend it. Especially with the pandemic ngayon, people are also keeping what they have. Pag dumating in December and then there's money coming in, umiikot ulit. Pero yung slow months natin dati was just like a couple of months. You go for March, another month for the rainy season. Ngayon, ang haba ng slow months.
I have a question dyan sa mga frozen food. But I wanted to acknowledge lang some people commenting. Dinah Uba said, former Alba employee here, salute Sir Migs. Nieva said, relationship with staff is number 1 in any business. Love, hope, and pay. So, that's really good that you've shared that. Kasi nga, a lot of restaurants are still struggling, and I've interviewed people who are able to manage, and that's the number one nga, relationship with the employees. And I'm glad you shared that. Now, next question is, this lockdown game is advantageous for home food businesses, di ba? And especially during now, there's a lot of people offering Spanish. The Morato family and a lot of families. They have a lot of this home recipes that they try to share, no, to a lot of people, and nagiging regional. So, how are you? What do you think about this new marketplace that happened because of the pandemic? And I think you guys are still dining pa din yung that's your main core business, no, the service. How are you, managing this changing that happened, that was introduced by the pandemic?
I'm glad you you mentioned that, Anton, kasi totoo yung this neighborhood marketplace, di ba, sa mga villages lahat yan. Wow, dumating bagong kalaban, di ba? I mean, these are your competitors actually. And I'll tell you the truth, they do the food very well. I mean, I've tried to order and deliver. Masarap yung luto nila. Home talaga. Some would sell it at a fair price, some would be very expensive, So yun, nag-flourish yung market na yan, di ba? And we were also invited in some neighborhood marketplace sa mga ibang villages. But I was hesitant to join the marketplace kasi there are individuals trying to invite us. It's just that I didn't want to be in that arena because it's an arena for the home people and you don't want to come in there as Alba kasi you still want to have that relationship with your sa neighborhood mo, di ba? Papasok ka as a business and then they are home cook. So you want a healthy relationship. So I just post na lang to them yung outlets namin. So if they want Alba food, I would just remind them, you can call our outlets. But I did not join the marketplace. And cheers to them. Talagang ito yung mga nakikita natin if things get better, these are the new ventures that we will see in the future na sila na yung magtatayo ng mga bago because they have seen themselves that they have talent. They can make this into a restaurant. They can go to the mall. They can build. So ito na yung mga papasok na mga that we who are in business have to be prepared for also.
Anton, many people don't know that Migs also has a cookbook, an award-winning cookbook, diba?
Oh yeah.
Where's that?
I'm ready.
Yeah,
ready.
Can you talk about it? Wait, I'll pull it up. One comment lang. James Richard Benitez said, "Thank you, Sir Migs, for everything that you've done to us."
Wow, how nice.
How nice. Yeah, can we talk about the cookbook? Yeah.
Well, this is edited by Nancy Reyes Lumen, the Alba cookbook. Medyo matagal lumabas to. It was planned for many years, nawala, and then finally, Tita Nancy pushed us to come up with it. So it's really nice. It tells of the history of Papa, how Alba Restaurant came in the country, and a lot of good stories along the way. And the recipes actually is not the way we do it in our kitchen per se, na talagang nandyan yung caldo and all that. We designed the recipes here that you could do it at home, but very close to how you will have it in Alba's. Kasi if I write down the recipes, parehong-pareho ng paano sa Alba, 8 oras ka pa gagawa ng stock. Ang tagal bago mo magawa. So we came up with the way that it will be closest. So you can make your callos actually, you can make your paella and everything. A lot of people actually ask, oh, bakit kayo naglabas ng cookbook? Ang daming makakaalam niyan. Totoo yung sabi mo nasa marketplace ang daming Spanish food. Ang dami na naming kalaban sa paella, callos, at saka sa cochinillo. Baka ito nga yun, baka dito nakuha. I'm not sure. I was just telling them na, a lot of people will like to cook at home. They will open it and make. Pero there are times some will not get it and they will just come to the restaurant. When they try a recipe, they will always remember us. So maganda, it's a good thing for us to keep a relationship with the readers and the people who bought the book.
May nag-order pa ba ng cochinilla? Cochinillo?
Yes, ang cochinillo. Tsaka ang daming nagbebenta ng cochinillo ngayon.
Oo, trending ang
Anton,
cochinillo dito. Yes, trending ang cochinillo. There's a lot of cochinillo available, different
To the
style.
point na nagka-shortage. ng supply.
Oo, I'm sure. Oo. Ang dami kasi, sobrang dami. Which is exciting for consumers, no? Kasi you can have cuchinillo of this person this week, next week, iba naman.
Yeah.
But as you said, there are many backyard or underground businesses now that you said might go to the malls now. Bigyan mo muna sila ng kanilang mga guidelines kasi, some of them might just dive in and without knowing that they might dive in head first. Ayos. Diba?
Yeah.
So like,
yeah,
especially,
I mean,
especially
I was
yung mix kasi yung sila, most of their employees are their household na hindi pa talaga yung pang-institutional. And marami pa diyang may mga, the taxes alone is something that can be
oh
very
yeah,
daunting.
that's
Di
right.
ba? So yung mga
That's
ganon,
right, ang dami.
maybe you can encourage, especially yung
Depends
mga the young ones na ganado. Oo.
It depends pa what municipality you're in kasi iba-iba yung rate ng taxes and all that. But before we go into taxes, I think what's happening in the household kasi now, those who are selling this food that they finally discovered their talent. That's good. Pero you're now working with a team kasi na naka-lockdown eh. Your husband or your family or your mother, family is there. I think when you enter into a business that start there at your home, and you're going to go out there in the arena where everybody is, I would still go back to the most important thing. It's relationship. I think you have to discuss this with your family. It's very important that you have the support. If you are going as yourself, you have to have the support of your spouse. You need to have the support of your extended family. You need that support very much because they are going to be your first loyal customers and fans, and they will keep supporting you. So napaka-importante nun. And then next is, I would say, go back again to, now you will need employees. Tama, sabi niya Tita Nancy, magkakaroon na sila ng employees ngayon. Mag-iiba na yan. You have to now give them their benefits. SSS, PhilHealth, Pag-ibig, are you ready for that? Because once you are a business owner and you go into business and you want to grow it, nobody actually made it alone. It's going to be so hard that you think everything is under your control. You are gonna have to make your family, your employees, lahat yan, to make sure that they feel that they are part of the business and they are not just getting salary from your business. Because if they end up just getting the salary from your business, then you don't bring out the best in them. You have to make them part of it. There are many ways that you can make them part of it. There are incentives, there are profit sharing, and the training, the time actually that you give to join them in the force.
Yeah. Okay. Another one is sometimes you go again. What you're saying is not also what people are practicing, having relatives in the business. Pero you had to have your relatives there. Paano yung yung peaceful coexistence?
Oo, paano yan? Oo.
Wow, that's a whole lot of hours of discussion when it comes to a family business, and then you have your siblings. Maraming mangyayari, but you know God, you know God, you know what? I'll talk about again how God has worked. I will be honest with the family business. It was not really good all the way. Nagkaroon din ng problema, just like any family business, sa siblings and all that. But again, God makes you experience those things kasi when He will finally come in the picture and show you that it was all okay, and here's now the results of what happened, you will realize and go back, yeah, it did have to happen. Kasi yung gift niya ngayon, that nagkagulo kami ng family, pero ngayon na mabuti kami, you will realize na, wow, it was double of what you wanted before. You wanted that inner peace that you have with your family, na it is not anymore what the business is about, but it's about all of you coming together, finally. So, mahirap talaga to be in the family business kasi whoever will be heading it, there are others who will say na dapat pantay-pantay or it should be me. nangyayari yun sa mga family businesses. So you also have to be prepared for that, if you are going to start a family business, designation of each one should be really very clear.
Question. Dapat ba isa lang talaga ang leader in any family business, or answer your own
Yes,
question? Pantay-pantay or what?
I would strongly suggest na dapat talaga isa.
That's you now in the Alba group.
Yeah,
Ikaw yun.
and everybody would also have their assignments. But somebody should always be, there should be a leader. Hindi pwede yung pare-pareho, because everybody will have a voice on everything. Walang isang nagde-define.
Oo. So talagang dapat the family first has to go into an agreement na there will only be one, whether panganay o hindi, there's only one leader na may accountability niya to all of them. Okay.
Pero I like to ask you, Nancy, kasi you have that problem or challenge also in your family, di ba? The Reyes family. Ano ba yan? Isa lang or pwedeng share recipe na lang tapos kanya-kanya kayong kasi we have some, I met some food entrepreneurs, no? Isa sila, one guy na Manila, Filipino, and then Indonesian. Yung nag-asawa sila, alam mo anong regalo nung Indonesian na family? It was a recipe. Bak minonya recipe. And at the time, sabi nila, ano ba to recipe na to? Wala mang mangyari, di ba? Pero ngayon, when they went here, nagawa nilang business. So, yeah, what happened ba? Or maybe some perspective, Nancy, ano ba nangyari sa Reyes? Nag-share na lang na recipe or hindi?
Hindi, dapat hindi. I mean, dapat yung recipe ni Aling Asyang, original aristocrat, should stay intact. Out of respect for the founder, for our grandmother. Kung gusto nilang marami na naman sa family, sa clan namin na nag-diversify, then they should make their own name, like marami na mga names. And even let's say 1 gram of difference sa lasa, but then the name aristocrat stays with the aristocrat. Diba? So let's say
ganun din sa Alba the Alba recipe.
Pwedeng si Anton might have the same barbecue concept, pero wag mong tawaging aristocrat, tawagin mo Anton. At saka wag mo nang insinuate na galing sa aristocrat yung ganon. That's why, going back to what Mig said, employees who are loyal are treasures in the business. Talagang they are actually your business, di ba, to start with, because they hold the key, they hold the recipes. Hindi kung isa lang na, maggumaya lang dyan he can leak it, some people, they might have sold the recipes already na akala nila, but still it's the brand and the relationship that matters. Taking care of the brand is really important. That's why we in Aristocrat, we really want to always revert back to Asyang, to our Lola Asyang, and her recipes, and her adobo.
And so, ganun din sa Alba, no? I mean, the Alba, the Alba, paano yan? The Alba recipe is safeguarded in your family. How do you handle that?
Yes, it's safeguarded. Pero if you ask me, kasi we teach this to our cooks. We train them. Like ako, after my culinary school, I was spending more time teaching how to cook to those who are under the line, di ba? Yung mga helpers. Kasi sooner or later, yung mga heads mo will have to go for, try have an opportunity abroad or sa barko. So merong ready in line kaagad. So you are teaching these recipes to them. Even if you safeguard it, lalabas at lalabas naman yan . So, how do you protect yourself if you're in business and then ito yung recipe mo? It's really what happens inside your restaurant. The customers feel the sincerity that you give to them. They feel your love for cooking dun sa kakain nila at saka yung service that is provided. So you build also after building your relationship with your employees, because the best customer service can only come from people who feel great, which are your employees. Aabot yan sa customers mo. So no matter if the recipes of your recipes go out, they will not do it the same way they do it in your kitchen. That I'm sure of. Our cooks cook the paella this way in our kitchen because they're with us. If they go somewhere else, if they're pirated or something, they may share it, but they cannot maintain it.
Yeah.
Because there are people in our kitchen, our supervisors, me and my dad when he was alive, overseeing that.
That's true.
Galing. I'm learning na, I guess, so I'm learning a lot from this discussion. Your business is a relationship business talaga, starting with the employees and then with the customer. And yun lang nga, the pandemic really hit that hard also, di ba? Kasi parang kailangan mo ng face-to-face din and financial difficulties. Galing!
That's why instead of social distancing, naging employee closeness. Hindi nagkalayo.
Mhm.
Diba?
Yes.
Do not literally matira ang matibay. And I think Mig's facing several challenges. Natitira siya sa kanyang katibayan. Yeah. Diba? Mix.
Yeah.
You never gave up? Did you ever
That's great.
give up? Migs, did you ever
Sorry?
give up?
Yeah.
Did you ever give up?
Give up? No. You give up, you lose your faith. You cannot deprive anybody of hope. Sometimes that's all they've got.
Okay. That's good.
So we don't give up.
No, that's a good that's a good message. Rowena said Alba serves the best paella.
Yes. Ano ba talaga? Paella o paella?
Well, sa Filipino, it's paella. Sa Espanyol is kayos, paella.
Paella. Okay. All right.
Paella.
Kasi dito paella naaartihan ako, pero yun pala talaga yung totoo, paella. Ako naman paella dito. Alba is always my go-to for authentic Spanish food. Mina basa. That's nice.
So the younger people appreciate Alba's food ba? Or they like more the ibang Spanish style of cooking?
Actually, ang sa amin, we saw it as a blessing also kasi yung family gatherings, they're good if you are catering to family events. Yung restaurant mo is catering to family, so the children are always there. So maliliit pa yan, lumalaki na sila dun sa taste na yun nung food mo. So their generation, when they grow up, it's in their palate already. So we are happy that we are catering to families nga. I mean, from my dad's time naman, it was really a family gathering sa Alba.
Wow, galing.
What do you see in the next, let's say pandemic doesn't exist, what do you see in the next 5 years in your operation?
Sa next 5 years namin, I think what we plan, what we are envisioning ni Cashel before this happened to her was we wanted to develop the deli more. Kasi yung restaurant, parang we have the blueprint for it already, the buffet setup and a la carte, so that can just really go branch out. But what we were intending to do or plan, dream namin is to be in Tagaytay maybe where the weather is good, to cure the delicatessen there, have a nice big area where people can actually tour and go around how it is done, how we smoke the mosillas. And then at the same time, my brother brews beer. So at the same time, dream namin yun na nagbo-brew din kami. So after ng tour mo, you have your tapas and the beer and you have your experience. If you're in Tagaytay or something like that.
Go na yan, go.
Go.
Doesn't have to be big.
That's what we are praying for.
Okay.
Alba will always be the best Spanish restaurant in Manila. Salud, Chef Mix by Claire Giao.
Oh yeah. Hi Claire.
May ano ba tanong ko? May tanong ako eh. So but I like that vision, no. Kasi nga I think especially Tagaytay, more slower, parang slow slow-paced dining, enjoying the weather, etc. Ang galing.
So,
Yeah.
ano ngayon,
Tama.
ano ngayon ang culinary DNA mo? You,
Oo.
apart from Don Alba Colas Alba, ikaw, what is Mig's culinary
My
DNA?
Are you asking if it's Filipino or Spanish?
It's up to you. I don't know. Might be a mix, might be more Spanish. What?
I think my culinary DNA is I grew up having soulful food. It's not anything fancy. It is more of the attention that you put in your cooking, like how my dad does it. At home, no waste goes for no waste kay Papa. When he's at home, he brings home the mga buto ng bacalao. Buto na lang yun, wala na yung laman kasi sa customer yung laman. Sa amin yung buto, and he would make a very, very good soup with rice with it. So I think even when I cook Filipino food, it's really soulful. I pay attention to it. It's on the dot when I saute even onions and garlic. Pag kulang or lampas, the dish does not come out well.
Where do you get the soul? Is that from the stock? And totoo, uso pa rin ba yung mga stock na ganyan? O bulyon, cube na
Yes,
lang?
up to this very day, sa restaurants, ganun kami. Sa bahay, syempre, bulyon na yon. Pero sa restaurant, we still have the stock. So every time I get a chance to visit the outlets, I would get the soup stock nila, put it in a plastic container, and then I freeze it para meron din ako sa bahay. Advantages of having a restaurant.
Yeah, that's good. That's true.
Before we close, we'll pick up. Marami nagko-comment eh. Michelle De Leon said, we love Alba. Salud. Mario Stefan Ramos said, Alba is the bar that other Spanish restaurants measure up to. And of course, Serge Alarcon said, congratulations, Miguel, from the Alarcons.
Oh, amen.
Okay, meron pang Diosdado de Guzman. Just want to share, Bro Mix also shared in his ministry, brought Alba Cuisine in one of Reach Out programs, so even the less fortunate had a chance to taste the food.
Wow. That's nice.
That's nice.
When was that?
Oh, this is the kasi kay Cashel, I was just really by the bedside of Cashel for many months, and I didn't want to move na parang ako yung mag-iisip what to do to please God. I wanted him to tell me what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? I mean, Cashel's case is not in my control. I am not the one. I'm not Cashel's healer. Cashel's healer is God. So I must be used. I don't want to waste my time. So I waited for a very long time until he brought me to this church in Kupang, Antipolo, OFCM. And that's where I really felt the presence of God in the Sunday service. Lahat yun. And then I said, I will commit myself to this church. And this day, after being with them since January, we are slowly rebuilding the church, fixing it up. It's in a small community. Puro kahoy lang. Maliit lang talaga na church to. And the community, they're not very privileged as we are here in Manila. So one day I thought of setting up the paella, tsaka doon lulutuin, so that they can partake of it newly cooked. So we had events, and now every Sunday I go to service there. So we would have the simple meals from our commissary. Kasi from your commissary, marami ka dyan mga, yung pareho nga ni Papa, di ba? Nothing goes to waste. So we prepare the food, and then we bring the food for the churchgoers every Sunday.
Okay.
Wow. Sarap
I
naman nun.
hope you can...
When was the last,
wait,
Anton, when was the last time you were in Albas?
Wala. Before pandemic pa.
Kailangan ma-revisit. I miss Alba. I miss it.
Wait, may nagko-comment. Let's acknowledge them. Mirna Ramos Love, Alba's very authentic in terms of Spanish food.
Yes.
Rafi de la Cruz, good job, Miguel. Continue on the great work. Alba is the best and the bar for Spanish food. And great resto, Viva Alba. Maynardo Velasco. So, as we wrap up this discussion, let's talk about what happens, post-pandemic scenario. Aside from your restaurant in Tagaytay, what do you think of the buffet? Will that change a lot? And do you think this intimate catering, like family type catering. Kasi dati wala yan eh. Your catering at home needs to be like how many, di ba? But now, a lot of people are catering to like smaller occasion. Do you think those things would survive? And what do you think will happen?
Yeah, ang daming limitations and restrictions when it comes to yung buffet and the setup for catering. If it's more than 30, bawal, di ba? And then kasi you bring your servers. And then yung hassle pa dyan is every time you do it, your staff will have to be tested. So parating may testing yung staff mo. And those things will also cost unless the client would shoulder it. So I think yung buffet sa amin, we are blessed again with our a la carte items kasi we have been given an opportunity to showcase our a la carte this time. Kasi for the longest time, ang tagal na namin, people came for the buffet eh. And now, yung mga nag-a la carte sa amin, now we have the opportunity, diba, to give that experience na bagong luto, the steak is newly grilled, the paella is newly cooked, unlike sa buffet. So I think the buffet is not going to happen for us until things get better. Kasi with all the restrictions and limitations, you're not actually providing them the real essence of a buffet experience. Kasi yung real essence of buffet experience is your eyes feasting on all those things there and you can go and grab whatever you want. So if may magsaserve sa'yo, then that is not a buffet experience. Until the restrictions are out and the limitations, that's the only time I think buffet will be out again.
Uso pa ba ang only rice? Wala bang only paella?
Well, sa buffet namin, may only paella. Paella.
Ano nga? Woo! Ay, nako.
All right, so let's wrap this up. But before, maraming nagko-comment. Rosette Aster said, so inspiring. May God bless you more and more, bro, Miguel, and praying for his healing upon your wife. And good job, Miguel. God bless you. Galing. I learned a lot actually from this discussion. Thank you for sharing some valuable insights and on how to like thrive or at least survive this pandemic. I know that a lot of the food industry are still struggling. No, in fact, a lot of people have problems with employees and stuff. So it's not really it's really very difficult for the industry. And thank you for sharing some light on maybe some insights lang that people can use, no? And I love how you said that God gives you the answer, no? You cannot you cannot quit because it's like giving up on your faith also, di ba? Galing. Very good.
Very inspiring.
Thank you for
very inspiring. So
thank you.
Before we go, I wanted to ask your final message. Jojo Tim said, "Good job, Sir Miguel. God bless you." Rosette said, "The best paella." So maybe let's leave this with your final message. If you can address, the people still struggling or the food industry, as we face another maybe lockdown or whatever. Any final message to the industry to close our discussion?
Well, for the business, I think it's tough. Yung competition ngayon, it's really tough. It's survival ng of the fittest and matirang matibay. So I think how to thrive in this business now na ang dami na even the newcomers are there. Consistency, I think is what I can say that will truly get you going. You have to be consistent with your product. Aside from being unique, you have to make it consistent. And then the sincerity, of course. The sincerity of why are you doing this? Why are you in business? And a lot of factors now, hindi na to pwede tayo sa high quality, high price. We have to be watchful for all what we've learned in marketing, the 4 Ps, which are your product, the uniqueness of your product, your pricing, and your place, and promotion. Promotion will always be there, especially during this time. So I wish everybody well, and I pray for them that let's thrive together. We can do this because now is not the time for all of us to be on another app or to make money. It is for our industry to actually survive. Support one another and welcome the newcomers as well.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the beautiful message. So I just pick up the last few comments, no, just to acknowledge them. Paulo de Alba, God bless Migs. Stephanie Ann, thank you for sharing your experience of God's love, extending to your family, employees, and friends. May you be blessed even more. Stephanie, Pinky Barcelona, God bless Miguel and Roderick Cubero. Panalo, Sir Miguel. Congratulations. Thank you for sharing. And with that, Nancy, any final thoughts?
I'm learning from you that one is to look back always. So I guess that's your father and his cooking. And I'm learning about you now and Cashel and how you establish a relationship with your staff, and because of that, with your family now managing, diba? They're paying forward. And last but not least, you have an open mind about welcoming new business, even if they might become your competitors. So I guess it's because you're very confident about Alba. You said consistent, consistent, consistent. That's the secret.
Yes. And before I close the stream, I love this comment. Now the paella will taste even better because of those backstories.
Wow, that's nice.
Uh,
John, ang ganda ng name niya, John
Wow.
Beloved.
John
John
Bela.
Beloved. Wow. Yeah, that's true. As
That's
you
true.
know, Anton, we have to say this. Every successful dish has a story.
Yes.
Di ba? Every restaurant success also has a story, and maybe
Mhm.
many stories of people. But every successful paella will have a cuento na that will inspire.
Yeah. And
Wow.
that's why we're doing this, Nancy, di
Yes.
ba? To tell those stories. Thank you again. Thank you to those people watching on the live stream and most especially on the replay. How can they get in touch with you, Miguel? Or what's the best way to get to Alba? What's the main channel ba? Your website ba, Chef?
They can go to our web w.alba.com,
Mm-hmm.
and yes, all the informations are there
All
of our
right.
outlets.
All right. Thank you. So we'll share the alpha.com.ph, di ba? Tama ba?
Tama?
This one, Alba.
Yeah, that's right.
Alba
Yes,
Restaurante
tama.
Español. And all the
Yes.
information on Alba. All right. Thank you so
Mhm.
much. God bless. And thank you for sharing your story. Bye-bye.
Bye,
Thank you.
Mix.
God
Bye,
bless.
Anton.
Bye. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you so
you
much.
again for here talking to
Bye
Steph.
bye.